So this is our fourth in our series of rituals using the greater ritual of the pentagram to invoke the four elemental kings. The greater ritual of pentagram being the ritual from the Golden Dawn that invokes a single element. You've done the element of earth for Gob, the element of air for Paralda, the element of water for Nixa, and tonight we'll do the element of fire for Jinn. And to introduce us to the elementals of fire, the salamanders, which comes to us down from Paracelsus, the great physician and hermetic magician from the Renaissance. I'm going to read a little bit from the Garden of Pomegranates as expanded by the Ciceros. A very excellent book. They have in here the path workings for all the different paths going back up the tree of life, and the section for the Sephra of Malkuth is really useful because they go through and they encounter each of these elemental spirits of Malkuth. As you descend to the ground, a great crackling sound splits the air. A bolt of lightning severs a large branch of an old oak tree, and a blast of light and thunder. The charred end of the severed branch is still burning as Mikael brings it up to you to examine. You gaze into the fire, but the heat is intense, and you do not quite understand what the archangel wants you to do. It's hot, you tell him. Look deeper, he replies. You gaze into the fire, not with your physical eyes, but with your inner vision. Your vision of the fire seems to warp, as if the image of the fire was shifting to another dimension. And the heat of the fire lessens. It doesn't seem to bother you anymore. Now you see white flames, not red, and you realize that you're looking at the fire on a microscopic as well as microcosmic level. You can see that the physical source of the fire is a rapid chemical charge that releases heat, energy, and light that is accompanied by the flame. It is this oxidation of a combustible substance. You can also see the spiritual source of the chemical reaction taking place is a result of the working of spiritual creatures known as salamanders, the elemental beings of fire. You can see the small dancing flame-like creatures forming into S shapes, joining together to begin the process of combustion. As the two salamanders twist together like serpents on the staff of Hermes, they produce a flame-like spark. You can also see one entity who is the leader of the others, a small red-haired human-like figure who sits cross-legged in the center of the flaming creatures. Mikael tells you this is Djinn, the king of the salamanders. The vision fades as you draw your consciousness out of the flaming branch. Mikael points you to an area of dense undergrowth next to the blasted oak tree. The lightning has set off a brush fire, which spread widely through the woods. You are dismayed at the destruction, but Mikael tells you that this particular fire is beneficial to the forest, clearing old dead trees and brushwood so that new saplings have a chance to take root and grow. Your anxiety lessens as you realize that this purification will, in the long run, be good for the forest. You contemplate the heat within your own body and how your body works to change food into heat and energy. Thus, the Cicero's introduction to the salamanders. And the Jinn is the target of our invocation tonight. So we will first do a temple consecration. This one will have an Egyptian theme called the Consecration of the Temple of Khem. One sacred space has been created, and our four archangels of the Tetramorph, Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Raphael, have been invoked. We will then do the Rosan vortex, which creates a containment field. And then we'll do the greater ritual of the pentagram for fire. And I will note each ritual as we begin it. So if we're ready, then we begin. Kabbalistic cross. Eto. Baku. Vegedura. Vegevura. Leolam. Amen. Consecration of the Temple of Khem. The desert wind blows over the pyramids as the solar disk descends through the western skies to the abode of night. Entering the river valley, which is speckled with the colors of twilight, we see that the earth is rich and fertile, and then flowing majestically towards the sea. We pay homage to the deities of the Nile and its lands, for the Nile is as the grail, which heals the barren earth, and which sustains the hearts of those who seek the eternal truth. The waters of the Nile rise and bring us the rich earth which sustains the land of Khem. The ground is sanctified by the waters of the sacred river and made holy through the strength of the fertile soil deposited upon the banks of the Nile. The incense rises from the perimeter of the circle towards the sky as an offering to the gods and goddesses of the twin lands of the pyramids. Rising smoke embodies the desert breezes, which bear the sweet scents of spices and the desert rose. The tongues of flames cast their rays of illumination throughout the confines of the circle, dispelling the darkness of ignorance and fear, and exalting the solar disk of Ra in all its splendor. Hail, my Lord, transversing eternity, his existence being forever, Lord of lords, King of kings, Prince, God of gods, who live with you. I have come to thee, O gods, O men of renown. Make thou for me a seat with them as a netter carrot. They adore the images of thy Ka, who have come for millions of years to thee, Osiris. The steel blade flashes in the flickering light as we separate the sacred space from the illusion of the mundane. Time is dissolved as we enter a reality of our own constructions, worlds beyond space and time, infinite worlds that lie beyond the Nile. Waaseya, dominion. Hail unto thee who art raw in thy rising, even unto thee who art raw in thy strength, who travels over the heavens in thy bark at the uprising of the sun. The Houthi stands in the splendor of the prow, and Rahor abides at the helm. Hail unto thee from the abodes of the night. Seya, the guardian. Hail unto thee who art Hathor in thy triumph, even unto thee who art Hathor in thy beauty, who travels over the heavens in thy bark at the midcourse of the sun, with the Houthi standing in his splendor at the prow, and Rahor abiding at the helm. Hail unto thee from the abodes of the morning. Mea to see. Hail unto thee who art tomb in thy setting, even unto thee who art tomb in thy joy, who travels over the heavens in thy bark at the downgoing of the sun, with the Houthi standing in the splendor at the prow, and Rahor abiding at the helm. Hail unto thee from the abodes of the day. Yeteraweya, the river Nile. Hail unto thee who art Kephra in thy hiding, even unto thee who art Kephra in thy silence, who travels over the heavens in his bark at the midnight hour of the sun, with the Houthi standing in his splendor at the prow, and Rahor abiding at the helm. Hail unto thee from the abodes of the evening. Abache, to unite in desire. Homage to thee, God Ra when thou rises, and Tum when thou settest. Thou risest, thou settest, thou art crowned King of the gods. Thou art the Lord of heaven. Thou art the Lord of the two lands. Thou art the creator of those who dwell in the heights and those who dwell in the depths. Thou art the one God, Nitaru, who came into being at the beginning of time. Thou did create the earth. Thou did fashion humanity. Thou did make the watery abyss of the sky. Thou did carve and fill the Nile. Thou art the maker of the sweet waters in the desert and of the great northern deep. And thou givest life to all that is therein. Thou did pass over and travel through untold spaces of millions and hundreds of thousands of years. Thou settest out in peace and guide thy way across the watery abyss to the place which thou dost love most. This is thy will, done in the duration of a day, wherein thou hast found a place of rest, and sink down, making an end of the hours. The temple has been opened and consecrated. The Egyptian Rosan vortex. The valley spirit never dies. It is the woman, primal mother. Her gateway is the root of heaven and earth. It is like a veil, barely seen. Use it. It will never fail. Wapate, one who is pure. I call thee Neeth, pure one, who stands at the dawn of time, weaving the world into being. Wearer of the red crown of Lower Egypt, you hold the Wa scepter of power over chaos. Your judgment is respected even by the gods, for you see the truth of how our world could be, perfect and ideal. Hail and welcome, Neeth. Say, yeah, to be born free. I call thee Ba'ast, cat-headed goddess of justice and pleasure. You drink deeply of the world's delight, and you can't command respect from all. You are the imperative of true will, and all follow you in search of self-knowledge. Hail and welcome, Ba'ast. Yeah, to love. I call upon thee, Mut, primal mother of the gods, regal goddess, wearer of the vulture crown, whose soft wings protect and nurture all. Yourself with love teaches us what it means to be human. Hail and welcome, Mut. Shesa, wisdom. I call upon thee, Neptus, excellent goddess, whose outstretched wings offer comfort and assistance to all. From you we learn not to fear the darkness and the transformation it contains. Hail and welcome, Neptus. Shit. Eternity. Great goddess Isis, I call to you. Isis, who is crowned with the sun, the moon at her feet. Isis, the greatest of all magicians. You are all goddesses and all women. You are the eternal spirit of womanhood, the sustainer of peace, of life, and giver of civilization. Hail and welcome, Isis. Wabate, Seya, and Mir Shisa, Shet, Uwasat. We seek sanctuary in the embrace of the goddess. She is the unity of all. She is the light on the path. In her all things move, in her all things live. She is love, and all things respond to her. She is the unity of all. She is the light on the path. In her all things move, in her all things live. She is love, and all things respond to her. She is the unity of all. She is the light on the path. In her all things move, in her all things live. She is love, and all things respond to her. The Rosan vortex is complete. Greater ritual of the pentagram for fire. Over hill, over dale, through brush, through briar, over park, over pale, through flood, through fire. I do wander everywhere, swifter than the moon's seer, and I do serve the fairy king and queen, to do their orbs upon the green. The cowslips tall, their pensioners be, and their gold coats spots you see. Those be rubies, fairy favors, and those freckles live their saviors. I must go seek some dewdrops here, and hang a pearl in every cowslip's ear. Farewell, thou lava spirits, I'll be gone. Our king and queen come here anon. Enu be ha. Be ito me. Oro iba eozope. As when the golden sun salutes the morn, and having the gilt ocean with his beams, gallops his zodiac in his glistening coach, and overlooks the highest bearing hills. The heavenly harness team begins its golden progress in the east. Enu be ha. Ito me. O ipe te a pe de o ke I. O for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. Enu be ha. Be ito me. In peha. Ore estel geaon. The setting sun and the music at the close. As the last taste of sweets is the sweetest last, writ in a remembrance, more than long things past. Enu be ha. Be ito me. Mo'a the al he ketega. On your eyelids, crown the god of sleep, charming your blood with pleasing heaviness, making such difference twixt wake and sleep, as is the difference between day and night. The hour before the heavenly harness team begins its progress in the east. Eitume. Enu be ha. Heberu e. Of all the kings, bear him to mind, eternal ruler of these, riches, magic, and wine, of fairies and song, now praise Oberon. Glorious queen, her kindness well known, all nature obeys you, your honor renowned. Now praise Titania. We call upon Oberon and Titania, graceful, elegant, lord and lady. Your kingdom we would enter, open the way between to the world of Fae. I open the gates between worlds. I open the kingdom of earth, of fire at Zeluth of Malkuth. The invocation of the Jinn. Immortal, eternal, ineffable, and uncreated Father of all, born in the chariot of worlds, whichever roll in ceaseless motion, ruler over eternal vastness, where the throne of thy power is upraised. From the summit of thine eyes that behold all, and thy pure and holy ears hear all. Thou art thy children, whom thou hast loved since before the ages began. Thy majesty golden, vast and eternal, shinest above heaven of the stars. Above them thou art exalted, O thou flashing fire. There thou illuminate all things with thine inseparable glory, wherein flow the ceaseless streams of splendor, which nourish thine infinite spirit. This infinite spirit nourishes all, and maketh the inexhaustible treasure of generation which encompass thee, replete with the numberless forms wherewith thou hast filled it from the beginning. From this spirit arise the most holy kings, who surround thy throne and who comfort thy court. O universal Father, one and alone, Father alike of immortals and of mortals, thou hast created powers marvelously like unto thy eternal and unto thy venerable essence. Thou hast established them above the angels, who announce thy will to the world. Lastly, thou hast created us, third in rank, within the elemental empire. There our continual exercise is to praise and adore thy desires. There we ceaselessly burn with the eternal aspiration unto thee, O Father, O Mother of mothers, O archetype eternal of majesty and of love, O Son, the flower of all sons, O form of all forms, soul, spirit, harmony, and the numeral of all things. Amen. I summon the spirit of the Jinn, the emotional ideal of fire and Malkuth, by the names of Iao, Abraxon, and Protenoia. I call thee to appear, O Djinn. I summon thy ray of blended power with being to come forth and empower this work of magic. I reveal the secret of thy image, O Djinn. Thou art the emissary of Mikael. You are the living flame with eyes like stars that flash and dazzle. Your hair is like smoke of incense, fragrance and pleasing. Come to us, for we are in need of thy wisdom. Now visualize the Jinn and ask for its wisdom and whatever enlightenment of fire and passion, of will and purpose that you seek for yourself. O Spirit of Jinn, we thank you for your wisdom and for your attendance here. Stay if you can, leave if you must. In closing, if we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that what you have but slumbered here, while these visions did appear, and this week in idle theme, no more yielding, but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. And as I am an honest puck, and if we have unearned luck, now to scrape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long. Else the puck a liar call. So good night to you all. Give me your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends. Hail unto thee, who art Ra and thy rising. We released our bond to you, and bid you depart for Amenti in peace. Hail unto thee, who art kept from thy hiding. We release our bond with you, and bid you depart for Amenti in peace. Hail unto thee, who art tomb in thy setting. We release our bond with you, and hold you do depart for Amenti in peace. Hail unto thee, who art Hathor in thy triumph. We release our bond with you, and bid you depart for Amenti in peace. Hail Osiris, Lord of eternal life. We release our bond with you and bid you depart for Amenti in peace. Until the time when once again we begin the journey, we stand in the center of light in veneration of thy seven spirits of magnificence. I open the gates between worlds to return to Malkuth. The rite is complete.